of the week. Joining us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge today on Sports Shorts. We are going to get into talking about the LSU Tigers' big victory last night. It was an ugly win against Texas A&M. It ended a 3-game skid. The Tigers had to have it, and they got it done. And, I mean, they literally limped and figuratively limped to the finish line. Shaquille O'Neal had to be pumped back at the TNT studios or something, watching his son, Sharif O'Neal, have one of his better games as an LSU Tiger. He played a big role in LSU's win over A&M. It was ugly. It was gross, but a win's a win's a win. Also, big news out of the NFL. The Denver Broncos have hired the Packers offensive coordinator as their new head coach. Lots of speculation. We'll speculate here in Sports Shorts Daily that Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, both could be headed to Denver. That makes all the sense in the world that they would be headed to Denver. And wow, that makes the Denver Broncos immediately, a formidable team in what's turning out to be a fun division over there with San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers and the Raiders. Also, we'll give you the latest LSU women's tonight. Tommy's going to be watching them on the tube. Also, he's got some picks for you as TK hit a big one last night. He had A&M plus 10, and he's been on fire along with some of our viewers here on Sports Shorts. So we'll get into some picks if you want to win some free money tonight through meatandpotatoesusa.com. Tommy, first off, tell us what's going on at Tremonti's.
Well, the lunch special today is jambalaya. They do that on Thursdays, and just filled the meat case up with steaks for the weekend. Great wine selection. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Connect on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll be glad you did. They can cater your office party, your family get together, get some stuff for Sunday's AFC, NFC championship games. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. They got it going on. Tremontis.com. Got all the information.
What was your reaction to LSU basketball last night?
I watched the game, and, it was sloppy in times by both teams. Once again, LSU committing a lot of fouls, but they found a way to get it done. And you can only have 5 on the court, and the 5 they had out there played their hearts out, man. They busted their butts. And Will Wade coaches every second. I like that, and it looked a little shaky at the end, but they found a way to get it done. Big crowd at the PMAC. I was glad to see a big crowd there. That was good. Team deserves that. As you mentioned, they break a 3-game losing streak and get back in that win column. Got banged up a little bit. I'm sure we'll get some injury updates later today, but it was a good win for a basketball team that needed a win.
I'll say this. Will Wade, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. The guy coaches hard. His staff coaches hard. I feel like they coached harder even knowing they had Pinson and days out. They played a lot of different people. They just kept trying combinations, so they got a little bit of something that worked. Sharif O'Neal was the hot hand, so he got a lot of minutes, and it was valuable. But I think Will Wade literally willed this team, pun intended, to victory. It was gross. It was ugly. LSU got out the block slow as usual. They only had 34 points in the first half. Oh, by the way, the over-under was 32.5 for the LSU in the first half. So if you click that over, you're a winner, although tremendously under in the second half. But it was just an ugly deal. Good thing A&M's not very good. And, if LSU had been at full strength, they probably would have covered the 9.5. Tigers were not, without 2 of their – not only 2 starters, but 2 – Days is a guy that calls out the defense. Even though he's not a great defender, he's smart and kind of helps quarterback the defense. Pinson's probably a top 10 point guard in the country. So, those 2 guys out, this team's a lot different. And Murray was banged up. He had some issues. He looked like he played a lot of minutes. He was winded. He had some injuries. He was always bent over, pulling his shorts, and Murray was the leader of that team last night. Eason, who got his points, he cramped up about halfway through that game and then ended up having to leave the game with about 6 minutes to play and never came back. So it was amazing that LSU was able to get a victory, albeit against a bad team. This is one that they'll need to make sure they punch that ticket to the NCAA tournament, because you lose this one, Tommy, that's 4 in a row. Who knows what happens Saturday, and things could have been headed in the wrong direction.
Ronnie, I'll have a memo for all high school basketball players. If you can shoot, you're going to get a lot of chances in college, because A&M and LSU put on a shooting, how not to shoot clinic last night. And these guys just can't score. And LSU had a sharpshooter. They had a Chris Jackson or a Jordy Hultberg. I mean, they'd be deadly. But they don't have that, and it's not going to change. And we'll just have to see. I don't think that you can't score the ball enough if you're LSU, unless some couple of guys can really get a hot hand. I see Sean's question. He's been day-to-day for like 2 weeks now. So, I mean, maybe he's back this weekend. I'm sure as soon as they can get him out there, they will.
Stephen Miller, who's hit 5 in a row with his basketball predictions, says after watching the game last night and looking at the stats, LSU should have really been about a 3.5 to 4 point favorite last night. Yeah, I'll tell you, Stephen, right here on Sports Shorts Daily yesterday, we looked up the line, and when I saw that it was minus 9.5 for LSU, and I knew that Pinson and Days weren't playing, I thought it was something wrong. I think I might have asked Tommy, can you check the line? I mean, I thought maybe my ESPN got it wrong, or I didn't update my phone or something. But
got to refresh.
I mean, trust me, that the minus 9.5, and Tommy was able to get plus 10 on A&M. That was the get back game lock of the year. Like, if you had a bad December or a bad January, you should have rolled it all into that game last night, because there was no chance of LSU covering that 9.5 or 10 point line. In fact, money line bet wouldn't have been a bad one on A&M.
And of course, Steven's pick on the website was SMU -8. We were in the rocking chair all night on that one. So it's been good. Stephen Miller's been hot at meatandpotatoesusa.com, and he'll have a college pick posted for you tonight.
All right, so let's see. LSU hoops. They end that 3-game skid. They get back in the winning column. They're clearly back probably somewhere on the 7 line or something as a seed at the very moment. Obviously, all of this can change. Let's see. LSU this Saturday, Tommy. They've got TCU in that Big 12 challenge. TCU finds themselves 13-4. They're not ranked, but they're a good basketball team. And the Tigers, for the game this Saturday, no line out yet. Obviously, it'll be about 24 hours before. Give you a quick little something on TCU since we won't be with you tomorrow. TCU did beat Kansas State, Tommy, the last time out on the road, and they lost by 12 to Baylor, the number 1 team in the country, at home. That's all they've done. That's some of the recent scores. They beat Oklahoma in a close one by 1 point. They played Oklahoma State, gave them everything they had on the road, lost by 1, and then they beat Iowa State on the road last Saturday, who was ranked 15th at the time, and got blown out by Texas last night. So the month of January, they've played some teams well, had the big road win against Iowa State, must have been feeling pretty good about themselves, because Texas came in last night to TCU and beat them by 23, Tommy. And Texas is not ranked, although a decent team. So I feel like TCU is a lot like LSU right now. They're, good days, bad days, capable of beating anybody on any given day.
Well, and back to Sean's question, Pinson, you need him more for SEC play than you would for this Big 12 challenge thing. So that may buy him a few more days to get right. So keep that in mind when wondering if Pinson's coming back with TCU next up on the schedule. More important to have him for the next SEC game. But if he's ready, they'll run him out there. He needs to be out there.
Chance to letting you know that TCU's coach is Jamie Dixon. He's a veteran, good coach, no doubt about it. It'll be a nice matchup, opportunity for LSU to step out of conference in that Big 12 challenge. They'll be on the road, and again, that's another tournament game. Get a victory against TCU out of the Big 12, a winning team. It's going to help you with your points, no doubt about it. The news came out. Obviously, we're still reacting to Sean Payton, and everybody has their take on that. And I made a $500 bet, Tommy, with a friend. You know her. $500 bet. Sean Payton is going to have another job within the next 5 years.
Oh, you're going to win that hands down.
Got to wait 5 years.
Can I get on it? Can I buy half of that from you?
No.
Damn.
Matter of fact,
Text me her number. I want to get in on that.
Matter of fact, I wanted more, but I just, as out of kindness, I just kept it at $500, but $100 a year basically. But yeah, no, my bet was that I think Sean Payton's going to coach in the next 5 years. They think he's done, going to be doing TV. We shall see. We got 5 years to pay that out. I think I'm going to be collecting in about 12 months personally, maybe even less. But let's go over to the news of the day. The Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator is headed to Denver to be their head coach. With the fact that Aaron Rodgers can leave between now and mid-March, the Packers, if he chooses. Davante Adams is an unrestricted free agent anyway, and it was going to be hard for the Packers to re-sign him with, a cap situation and everything because he's arguably going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. I mean, this is all but a done deal, right, that Aaron Rodgers is headed to Denver.
Yeah, I would have to think there's a lot of strings attached to Hackett going to Denver, and it's all over all the national shows this morning. Dan Patrick was talking about it. I'm a big fan of that show. And they were talking about it. And then you and I, before we rolled tape here, we they don't do something like that without having a complete plan. That's just part of the plan. And all teams do it. And, are they pushing the envelope on maybe – doing something wrong? They're probably right by the line, but they're not going to cross the line because the NFL really scrutinizes that stuff pretty detailed. If
Aaron Rodgers goes to Denver and if Davante Adams goes to Denver, do you immediately put them in the catbird seat to be the be right there in the playoffs and be in that conversation with Burrow and Kansas City, with Mahomes and Buffalo? I mean, are they competing for a Super Bowl next year?
I don't know if they're competing next year. I think we get a little snapshot, to watch it and how they come out the gate the first half of the season. But it's certainly going to be a conversation. Like, are they now, can they kick it up that high, that fast? I mean, I can't remember the last time the Broncos were in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when Tebow was there, huh? But so I don't know. But I would think that if you get Rodgers and Adams, and then I'm sure other guys will want to, head to the Mile High City. They could make a pretty big turnaround quickly.
By the way, just a quick little side note: Chris Mack, the basketball coach at Louisville, got fired in the middle of the season.
Something's up there. We're going to learn something in the next couple of days.
11-9 was his
got a decent record until this year.
Yeah. He was supposed to get – this is why there's got to be more to the story, right? He was supposed to get a $12 million buyout according to his contract. If he got – they negotiated down to a $4.9 million buyout. So either he's got the ultimate confidence in Tommy that he's got something lined up or something that he can go jump to and no problem. You wouldn't think you would necessarily walk away from $7 million in essence is what he's walking away from. So either Louisville's got something that they think they could hold over his head and fire him for cause, possibly, you know what I mean? Or he just so wants out of there. Give me my basically $5 million. I got a job lined up next year, wherever. But that's a big move because Louisville paper is a top 10 job in the country.
And I think they have an interim AD there now, so that's a little bit of a mess. But Chance corrects me there. My memory not good. Broncos went to the playoffs with Peyton Manning and won a Super Bowl.
That's right.
Tebow. So thank you, Chance, for correcting me.
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
I mean, you got to correct things like that because I was wrong.
2 Super Bowls, by the way.
Yeah, 2. So I'm not a big Bronco fan.
Clearly. Although I was, man, in 77 when they played the Cowboys, I was an Orange Crush guy. When they played in the Dome, and of course Denver.
It's the big story about that game, especially in my life. There was my childhood idol, the reason I wore number 14 my entire athletic career, got in that game as a quarterback for the Broncos when Craig Morton got hurt. Norris Weiss, who was from Chalmette, went to Ole Miss, basketball and quarterback, followed Archie Manning as quarterback at Ole Miss. And Norris was the first quarterback to play in a Super Bowl in his hometown because he got into that game. Cool. Orange Crush, he was Chalmette High, great player there. I was a ball boy.
How many plays did he get? How many plays did he get? Oh, he played like 2.5 quarters. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, and he was a backup NFL guy. He had very good catcher in baseball. He still holds some Ole Miss records in baseball, but passed away unfortunately about 20 years ago with leukemia. But I used to wash his Corvette for $1. He had a maroon Corvette, lived 3 doors from me, and I thought I was the man of the world because I was washing Norris Weiss's car, and I was a ball boy at Chalmette High football. How about this game? I got to say this, Ronnie. State semifinal football game. It was raining so hard I couldn't keep any ball dry, but you couldn't see the other side of the field. It rained so hard the whole game. And Woodlawn had a quarterback named Joe Ferguson who threw 7 touchdown passes in that rain. Weiss threw 6, and Woodlawn won like 48-42 in a rainstorm.
That's pretty awesome. By the way, let's see, Chance saying, giving you a shout out, the parish representing, it's the parish representing in the Super Bowl, not the parish. That would be proper English. Nobody speaks properly down in the parish.
I don't.
Sydney giving you a nice story, TK. Listen, and then Steven says, that's a nugget. You can't get anywhere but Sports Shorts Daily. That's because we're old, Steven.
I'm older than you, Ronnie.
We got a almost 50 and a 60-plus-year-old. There's nowhere else in sports shorts or in Baton Rouge or Louisiana. It's got two guys with a combo age of over 110 years of life. That's
look, I started playing T-ball when I was 5 years old. Okay, and I've been hooked on sports ever since.
Norris Weiss, a nice little cat, but yeah, the Broncos got destroyed in that one. But I remember,
and the
orange crush drinks and everything.
I always wore number 14. People thought it was because of other people, but it was because of Norris Weiss. And I got a quick story of how I got 14 in college. Can we go with that real quick? All right, Christmas holidays, go home. The girl I'm dating's brother gives me a Christmas gift, and it's a brand new leather basketball. You're not going to bounce it on the cement back in them days, okay? So I go back to Southeastern in January, and they're getting ready to give out uniforms. And they had a shortstop, Mike McIsaac from Chicago, Illinois, who had number 14. I said, Mike, come down to my dorm room. He goes, yeah. I go, hey, Mike. He's like, he was a senior. I'm like a freshman. I go, hey, it's number 14. Does it mean anything to you? I'd really like to have it. He goes, well, what are you going to give me? Or what are you going to do for me if I give you 14? I go, I don't know, man. What you want to do? I'm a freshman in college. He goes, he looks and sees that basketball on the desk. I hadn't even taken it out the wrapper yet. He says, if you give me that basketball, you can have number 14. I said, take it. Gone. Done. Coach, nice. The guys that gave me number 14, and then I wore it for 5 years. So, so then I'd go home, and Joe would ask me, he was a catcher for Tulane. Joe would ask me, he said, how's that basketball doing? Oh, great. We use it in the PG every day. That would have been Joe Morse. There's a lot of people out here that know him. Catcher at Tulane, still a dear friend of mine. We swapped text messages the other day. So I think that might be the first time he ever heard that. I gave away the basketball to get number 14.
By the way, does he know that story now? He knows you gave away that basketball? He
may be watching it. He lives up in Arkansas now. He might. Put it this way.
We'll find out how good of friends y'all are.
Word will get to him, I promise you. And then next week I'll update you if I get a text from him.
By the way, getting back to real quick the possibility of Aaron Rodgers going to Denver, which to me I think is makes all the sense in the world that it's going to happen. We were hearing Aaron Rodgers was going to probably go to Denver anyway, and then you throw in the fact that his OC from Green Bay just got hired as the head coach of Denver. That makes that just seems like it's a lock now. But imagine the AFC, Tommy, how tough it is, man. Now, when if Aaron Rodgers goes there and you throw him in on the with Allen and with Buffalo and Kansas City, and then Joe Burrow's the up and coming team, and I mean
Chargers.
Chargers with an unbelievable stud quarterback. I mean, I'm telling you, it is going to be. The AFC is clearly the strength when it comes to QB play and interest. I mean, if you make it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC, you've earned it and probably going to be the favorite in the championship game.
Look, sports betting begins on the phone tomorrow morning in Louisiana. You're going to have a lot of fun going forward in all sports. I mean, baseball made a little headway on the lockout conversations earlier this week. So I'm crossing my fingers there that there's no delay with that. We'll talk more about that next week.
You know, if Aaron Rodgers does in fact go, look at the top two teams in the are Green Bay and Tampa Bay over in the NFC. You lose Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay goes back to the bottom of the pack. Tom Brady's likely to retire, if not this year, next. I mean, you know, like the strength is all going quickly. You're looking and going, you know, Dak Prescott might be the best quarterback in the NFC. I mean, which is crazy. You know, Kyler Murray.
Wow, that's a reach. Yeah,
Murray.
Garoppolo's still playing.
He was supposed
nobody
to
wants
lose
to give
his
him
job.
credit.
Right.
Yeah, nobody wants to give Garoppolo credit. He's playing Sunday night for a chance to go to a Super Bowl again.
Especially if Russell Wilson ends up leaving Seattle. Now,
yeah, he's going to end up in New Orleans.
But if he ends up in the AFC, you know, then all of a sudden, Kyler Murray becomes the best quarterback in the NFC. Dak Prescott maybe becomes like the second best quarterback. It's crazy. And then it wouldn't be such a bad deal for the New Orleans Saints, whoever plays quarterback.
Matthew Stafford, you know, he's him and Garoppolo. Nobody talked about them 6 weeks ago. They're still playing. There's 4 quarterbacks still playing. There are 2 of them.
All right, let's see. Rodgers, Herbert, Carr, and Mahomes in the division. Who's worse? Who's? I mean, Carr. Would you take? Herbert and Carr?
I like Carr.
I love Carr.
I like Carr,
and he might be the fourth best
team.
quarterback.
After Gruden got fired, what he did with that team. I mean, I like Carr. He's. Hey, don't count him. He's like Josh Allen. He can move. He'll run you over. He don't care. I've always liked Carr.
I'm telling you what. If Carr was in on another team in another division, he would be more highly thought of. Let's see. Tori in here says if Burrow could get a little protection, he's up there with some of the best, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because he's my favorite. Well, we all think that, Tori. No question about it. Like, you know. And thanks for watching, by the way, T. But I'll say this, that no, I forget. It doesn't matter what protection or not. Joe Burrow might be in the Super Bowl. He's got a terrible offensive line, and he still might be in the Super Bowl. So yeah, no question. I think Cincinnati's going to go add another offensive lineman, if not 2, this offseason. They'll shoot a draft one. And
I don't know how many draft picks they got, but they're going to take a lot of linemen. You know, they may even go into the transfer portal and get some linemen. Who knows? But
they'll have to draft at least one, and I'm sure they'll sign at least a free agent signing.
And what lineman who's a free agent wouldn't want to go there when you got Burrow and Mixon and Chase and Higgins, and they got other guys too. At tight end's not bad. So boom. I mean that has become an attractive place because of Joe Burrow. And Chase and, the other guy, Mixon. I like Mixon as a running back.
By the way, last thing before we go, speaking of Jamar Chase, did you see where Jamar Chase said that Les Miles, when he recruited Jamar Chase in high school, said that he wasn't a wide receiver? They were going to move him they wanted to move him to another position.
Keep in mind, Les Miles told Dak Prescott he wanted him as a tight end. Okay, so Les Miles, we don't need to crash on the guy, but you tell people, you get him on campus, then you move him around. You don't tell a guy that. And, I'm sure Chase used that as motivation, and he could be rookie of the year in pro football. And all coaches make mistakes, but Les Miles made a lot of them. But he won a national championship, Ronnie. He got a skin on the wall.
I mean, Jamar Chase, that story right there is going to – and look, the great thing is for LSU that he came anyway, right? And that Les obviously was gone, and he came anyway, because he was the head – as Coach O was the head coach. But that reminds me of the same story, but this is the one that got away. LSU told Marshall Faulk he's got to come play cornerback.
Curly Ullman told him that.
Yeah, and he went to San Diego State and was
he's in the Hall of Fame.
And he said, no, you can't play running back. You'd have to play cornerback if you came to LSU. San Diego State was the only school, though, that said, yeah, you can come here and play running back, and he went there.
Well, and they had an assistant coach who was from New Orleans that helped get Falk over there. But, so all coaches make mistakes. I mean, I picked kids for travel ball like a month later. I'm like, okay, I didn't get this one right, but, it happens.
All right, please help
All right.
like and share Sports Shorts. Tell
Real
us
quick.
about Tremonti's, TK, before you
Well,
get out of here.
Tremonti's, get the lunch today, the lunch tomorrow, the fried catfish with the crawfish etouffee, catering, wine, whiskey. Just filled the meat case up with steaks, fillets, wagyu, everything. Get it all ready for the weekend. And don't forget our friends at Court Street Cafe got a special event Saturday evening, Galentine's. It's for the women. Drink, shop, music. Go to the Court Street Cafe Facebook page. All the info's there. Nice event that they do annually. It'll be crowded, but it'll be a lot of fun for the ladies on Saturday evening at Court Street Cafe. And Ronnie, we will be back Monday morning with Sports Shorts Daily. I'll be back over here at Tremonti's. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio Saturday 10 to 12, and Hold the Rope Radio will be this Saturday 1 to 3 with the NFL playoffs on Sunday evening. That'll air on 104.5 ESPN. So I got the doubleheader again like I did a few weeks ago. Sports Shorts Radio 10 to 12, Hold the Rope Radio with Skip Bertman and Dan Canterbury from 1 to 3. And again, it's all on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, TK, have a great one. We'll check you out on Saturday morning.
Early call. I like the Chiefs and the Rams. Early call. Go to meatandpotatoesusa.com.
LSU women tonight, right? What time?
Yeah, 7:30 on the SEC Network. Yeah. Kim Mulkey's Tigers playing at Arkansas. So check it all out, man. Always good stuff on the fun coming up in the world of sports.
And we'll check out what jacket Kim Mulkey's going to be wearing. That's always the big thing. Much like Dee Bro used to rock the jacket, Kim with the fashion.